Hi everyone. Today I have an artist, a local artist. She's here from Dearborn and it looks like she's actually signed in. Um, Noor Moghrabi is my guest today and she's actually originally from Jordan. Hi Noor. We met at Black
Hi.
Gallery. Hi.
Yeah. Hi. How are you?
How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, it's great to have you.
Thank you.
So tell me, how's your journey been becoming an artist?
It's been beautiful. Yeah. I've went through so many stages and I feel like I'm finally in a place where I wouldn't say like all the way happy, but just happy with where I am today with my art journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, can you tell us about how you became an artist?
Yeah. So my mom is a painter. So growing up, she always had her paint supplies somewhere in the house. She had those, I think the brand was called Samsonite bag. She had a code on it and she had all her paint inside. And I was always interested in going through that bag that she had. She had oil paint, pastels, and things like that. And she used to paint on wood and make her own canvas, stretch canvas. So she'll build the whole thing and prep the canvas from the beginning. So I've always watched her do that. This is when I was, I'd say around 3, 4 years old, because I only remember those parts of the beginning of my journey. The first memories of art I have is like my mom preparing the canvas and that bag with stuff inside and some art books. So I just watched her paint growing up, and she used to give me some watercolor paints and watercolor pads to paint with her so that I don't keep messing with her stuff, which is the same thing I do with my kids now to be able to paint. Um, I don't remember her like sitting down with me and like teaching me all details about art and what she does. I was just basically watching her do what she does, and I just have those memories of her painting the waves, the rocks, and the boats that she used to paint. And after I became old enough to mess with her stuff, she used to let me take those books too. So I was happy that I was able to go through her bag one time and just take all the supplies and go through the books and learn the shapes, how to just draw certain animals. So I'd take an animal and I'll see the steps of how to add the circles and how to add the details on it. And slowly I became even more interested. But my mom stopped painting after she had a few kids. Um, and then she always supported me, and it was my thing. I was never interested in toys and things like that. I was more into like just wanting to be in my room and paint.
Mhm.
So it slowly became a part of my life. Yeah. So
Wow. So you've been doing this for a long time.
yeah, ever since I could remember, it was a part of my life, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, is your mom still around?
She's overseas.
Okay. Does she
Yeah.
still paint? Does she still make art?
No, she stopped. She had arthritis afterwards, so it became difficult for her to paint and hold the brush. But she always told me like, don't quit even after you have kids. Do not stop. She doesn't regret that she stopped because it wasn't a decision that she made because she wanted to, but
Yeah.
she just couldn't do it anymore. And she always told me not to quit, like keep going. And yeah, she
Nice.
gives me that push. She did teach me how to um, paint and draw the trees and rocks. Those two things that I just remember as if it's now.
So you haven't really like studied with anyone except your mom. You're
Um,
self-taught? Are you self-taught?
so yeah, towards the last semester of my college, I switched to liberal arts because that's when I made the decision to not do pre-pharmacy anymore, not to go into pharmacy school,
Hmm.
and just do what I love. So the last semester I took 3 art classes, but only 3 art classes, and they helped me so much more. So they added to my knowledge. I learned a lot of stuff, a lot of elements of, art. And I did not take any painting classes, but the drawing classes also helped me become a better painter.
Mhm. And you also do henna, right?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
So henna, I started about 6 years ago. I was here. I did not start henna overseas. I started 2 years after I came to this country, to Michigan. And I just love art, all forms of art. And I do like to draw on myself. So I used to use Sharpies and pencils, but I always knew henna. Like henna has been a part of my life also as a child, but I never used it for body art.
Yeah.
And then one day I just bought some henna from eBay, and it wasn't the real henna, it was just a black dye. And then it became um, it became something really nice to do because I've seen that women really loved it. So they started asking me to do more. There was this demand on my service as a henna artist because I was just doing it from home for myself, for my cousins, for some family members and friends and their friends. And then that's when my brother-in-law was one of the first people who encouraged me to start charging clients to do their henna. And slowly, when there was a lot of requests, I felt like I have to do more research because I knew that the product I was using was not real henna. So I started learning from other henna artists from the country, and most of them were not even Arabs. So I started buying a better henna quality. I started learning how to mix my own henna paste, and it took me a long time to achieve that good paste. And then worked from home for a few years, and then after, I think in 2018, Natty messaged me. I don't know if you know Natty Hichigan.
No, I'm
She
not.
owns the salon I work at, Natty B. So she reached out one time and she asked me if I want to work at her place, and I said yes. I was really happy. So I've been working there since then, and I do more henna now.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Can you describe your process when you paint, when you're about to create a painting? I've seen some of your work and I think you're an awesome artist. But if
Thank
you
you.
don't mind sharing
You're
your,
an awesome artist too.
thank you. This is
You're
about you right now. If
welcome.
you don't mind sharing a little bit about what happens and what inspires you to paint and how you go about doing that.
So what inspires me mostly is nature and being outdoors. And sometimes what inspires me is people who I love, who do things that like interest me. And I could be like around this person, spend a few hours with a friend, and then that friend can really give me an inspiration to draw or paint something. Or just being outside, being on the beach, just sitting. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Just sometimes sitting alone, um, and just wonder. And before I paint, I have to make sure that my area is clean. I cannot start any painting without having a clean atmosphere around me in my room. So it was difficult for a few years of my life after I had my first child because I didn't have the space. So to me, having the right space that you create for yourself helps a lot with wanting to paint, wanting to be inspired. Because if it's a mess, it's a mess. I can't even think like what's on my mind. All I could see is a mess. So first thing to okay, I'm like mixing my thoughts right now.
oh, you got
From inspiration to like
children.
how the process. So basically, I'm just gonna talk about the process. I just clean my area. I have the thoughts in my head sometimes days before I know that I'm preparing for, like, let's say Wednesday's my day off and I plan on painting on Wednesday. I have to make sure that Monday, Tuesday, I prepare the area for myself, prep the canvas, and then just think before I'm even in the art room. Just when I'm driving, I'm thinking about my next project. When I'm before bedtime, sometimes I think about what I want to add. I think about the colors sometimes before time. And even when it comes to the painting time, things can change. but the thoughts that I had over the past few days do help me create something even more beautiful than what I thought it would be.
Wow.
That's how it's been. I think I need to let this guy out.
Yeah, no
Sorry.
problem. It's always fascinating to me how creative process works and how everybody's got a different way of doing things, and what works for another might not work for someone else.
That's true. That's true.
I like to learn about these things because I realize that there are infinite ways of making art. So it's just a curious thing for me.
Yeah. I also want to know more about other artists and how their process is too, because it is interesting to see how each artist does have their own way of creating their piece. Some people finish in one day, some people takes them months to finish one painting, and it's always just interesting to hear about the story behind the painting they created.
Yeah, it's not just between the artists. It's every single piece you create has a different process. So that's what's fascinating.
That's true. I agree.
What is your biggest fear, Noor, when it
My
comes to your
big
art? Well, if you want to tell us about other stuff too. But no, when it comes to your art, we're focusing on your art process here.
um I'd say I have more fear when I do portraits
Mm,
rather than when I do landscape or nature, which I love to do both. I could never decide which one I enjoy more because I feel like each painting I create has its own, even if there's fear, that fear helps me achieve something after I'm done. So with portraits, my biggest fear is not to have the same expression of the person and the same feeling as the picture I'm looking at, if it's a commission work, or just um, this one. Actually, I want to show you this one because this
yeah, I'd
one
love
was,
to see, like, if you'd share some stuff with the viewers, that'd be great. Oh, lovely.
so this painting I started, I think, the end of last year, and it was not someone specific. So basically, I was not looking at a picture to do her face, and I want to talk about this one because I struggled with this one. So when I did her face the first time, one time my kids went inside my room and it was done with oil paint, so it wasn't dry, and then the oil paint on my palette was not clean, so I left it out. So they were able to go in, and then there was some red color in there, and then they went with the red and they splashed over her body. The face stayed the same. No, actually, no, they did go like on her nose and stuff. So when I tried to fix the painting, I was not able to do the same expression that she had, and it was a very beautiful expression. Like, I was happy looking at her, and I wasn't done with her body or anything, but she had a really beautiful expression that I enjoyed looking at it. And then they destroyed it for me,
Hmm.
and I was the whole time I was afraid not to that I'm not going to be able to bring back that expression, and I never did.
Yeah.
So I just basically it turned into a different painting that was not the same idea, and I wouldn't say I'm happy with this piece.
Oh, it's actually pretty nice. I like it.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
kind of sparked a question for me. I hope that it's not like an out of place question, but I have,
No, no, go ahead, please. Whatever you want
um,
to ask.
as a woman who wears the hijab,
Yeah.
I find it really interesting that you're capable of drawing a nude. Well, it's not
Yeah.
completely nude, but you're showing the body of another
Yeah.
woman. So,
Yes.
can you tell us a little bit about that? What makes you so comfortable? I mean, I love it that you are, but I'd like to know a little bit more about that.
Okay. So it's like when you choose to paint something and you don't want to worry about other people's opinions, but at the same time you still want to like respect the fact that some people in your family that mean a lot to you will say something negative about this. um so I did hear some comments, but I still did not change the fact that she's not dressed with anything. Why do I have to always, but it's a natural thing, we all have our skin, like what's so bad, you know what I mean? How is this piece is something that someone would look at and not see the beauty of that piece, but see the, oh, she's not dressed. And I know that I'm going to hear this comments. I'm not done with this piece, but I know that once this is posted, I am going to get some messages, especially from overseas, talking about why isn't she dressed? And I've heard this before so many times. And I'd say it is a struggle, to be honest, because at the same time, I do want to be able to do what I want without having to deal with the after talk and comments. But it's still going to happen. And now what do I choose? Am I going to choose to do what I want, or am I going to choose to do what they told me to remove off of social media? It's always going to be, I don't think, if I'm able to change how I think, I know it's not going to be easy to change how other people think, and it's not my responsibility to make them think otherwise.
Absolutely.
I'm just responsible to do what I feel like doing. So
Exactly.
it's
I
always
would
going to be a
say
struggle.
just do what's in your heart, basically.
Yeah. And I love painting skin, and that is a plus, to be able to draw some certain body parts. If I'm always going to draw clothes, I'm never going to be able to draw skin or paint skin.
Hey, we're all humans, and that's what we're made of.
Yes,
So,
yes, and we
and
all got
and
skin.
and all artists appreciate the beauty of skin. So why not?
Yes, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you
Sorry,
for
mom,
sharing that.
if you're going to watch this.
Hey, I'm not cutting anything out of this.
No, don't cut. I'm gonna send this directly to my mom and father and be like, "Hey, mom, Baba, mama, look what I made."
You are so cute. I don't want you getting in trouble. But
I
I
hope not.
totally understand where you're
I
coming
mean, my
from.
mom would probably understand more because she's an artist, and sometimes she's like, like she'll say something, but at the same time, it's whatever. But I know the rest is not like that. My mom is different.
Lovely. So tell me, why do you make art?
It's it's the way of living for me. I can't even imagine what it would be if I wasn't an artist.
Mm.
This is one of my fears too, by the way. If I get to a point where I have to think of what would I be if I wasn't an artist, I wouldn't be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's the way of living. It's honestly, so when I am not willing to be around people, which happens sometimes, I'm not always wanting to be around people. There's times where I do want to be alone, and in those moments, colors is my therapy. So if I'm needing that time for myself, this is what I want to do. So it's my way of living, and this is how I heal myself from every situation that I deal with I don't daily paint, but on a daily basis, if I'm going through a lot that week, I know that I need to be in this room,
Mhm.
sitting on this chair and doing what I want to do, because the next day I'm not going to be feeling the same way I felt during that week. So it always helps, and it's always my passion. Nothing could change that, never could change. I did stop for a few years where I never painted for like 2 years in a row, where I could not paint, just couldn't paint. And I
Yeah.
thought that I'm going to quit, but I knew that I'm not. Well, I thought I'm quitting, but then turned out that I did not quit.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing so openly. Actually, I really appreciate that you're doing that.
You're welcome.
It's
Don't
what
thank me.
it's what I live for.
Thank you. So
What
just
has
one question. Why is there pink on my oh yeah, it's not on my face. Do I ask that?
what has being an artist taught you?
It taught me to become more open-minded, to see the beauty of life in different perspectives, and to be able to either focus on details or move far away from details. So to give me more balance, because sometimes I'll be doing some work where I really worry about every single detail, and then sometimes I don't want to show any details, but looking at the bigger piece, you could see so much with no details.
Yeah.
So what else did it teach me? teach me how to become connected to people, because sometimes if it wasn't for art, I wouldn't be able to socialize. It's like that one thing that always got me connected to others, and the others are the people that are also my type of people. So it was a connection for me. It's a great connection, to be honest. It gives me love, and it makes me able to give love. It makes me able to understand others too, because a musician would express themselves through their music, and a poet would express themselves with their words. And this is how I express myself. So it did teach me how to express myself and how to understand others when they express themselves through their art, with whatever form they chose to express themselves with. Does it make sense?
Beautiful. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for that. So on the other hand of it, like what blocks your process?
Blocks my process is being too busy and getting caught up with life and living this very fast phase of like someone, like living in my life as if someone is chasing me, not taking it slowly. And I do want to live slowly. I don't want to just overwork, overdo anything. I want to give each part of my life the right amount of time that it needs. So I'm sorry I lost your question.
No, just what blocks your
Oh
process,
yeah.
and you're
So
answering it.
yeah, so rushing, if I'm being rushed by someone, if I'm being rushed by life, by work, by family, by anything around me, it just shuts me down. Like I have to make time. And then if I start worrying about time can be a blockage for me.
Yeah, how interesting is that? That
Yeah.
sometimes we try our best to not have to be rushed or anything, but
Yeah.
things kind of get out of hand at times, and you have to always try and balance it out.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. So what do you have coming up? I saw that you're going to be teaching some online classes. Is it online or in person?
It's in person.
Nice. Cool.
Future online classes should be coming
Yeah,
soon. Yeah,
very
I
nice.
wanted to try this first experience
Very
in
cool.
person.
Lots of luck for you with that. And
Thank you so much. I'm very
hope
excited.
to see you. We still should grab that cup of coffee we keep talking about.
I know, I know. And summer passed and it's not even warm
I
anymore.
know.
And even after we talked about the last time, I still did not get a chance to go out and enjoy
Oh, wow. Yeah,
life
you're a
outdoors
busy
like that.
mom, and your kids are still younger too, so I totally understand.
Thank you.
But we'll make it happen. Thank you
We
so much
will.
for this.
You're welcome. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for
it
giving
was
me this
lovely to have
chance.
you.
Thank you. Me too.
Take
I
care,
appreciate
Noor.
you.
I'll see
You
you
too.
soon.
Thank you. See
Bye.
you. Bye.